Here we are, folks. Starting up here, trying to get this on my laptop so we can discuss this, and I can see all of your comments as well. Some disappointing news today, that's for sure. Definitely disappointing news. Tim Shieff. Tim, the vegan ninja warrior, no longer vegan. We knew that he had had his little setback. We knew that. We knew that he had started eating a couple of animal products a couple of months ago. But hey, what do, you know? All right. Looks like I've got this up and running on my laptop here, so I'll be able to see when somebody comments. But you know what? So hey, first off, Tim Shieff, vegan ninja warrior. What do you say about this guy? Tim was one of the people who I looked up to, that I respected when I was first going vegan, nearly 5 years ago. He was inspiration. He was clearly, the kind of person that you could look to and say, well, there's a clear example of vegan health and athleticism, and someone who could dispel the myth about masculinity and veganism. But we find out today from his video, you were just going to reach out to me about this. What a coincidence. Thank you, Red is Rad, for thinking of me and thinking that I would like to discuss this, because yeah, I kind of do. So we knew he had his slip up there a couple months ago or whatever. He started eating a couple of things. This was after his fast, and obviously that didn't work out for him. I've still been following Tim this whole time and kind of wondering, how he's been doing. Obviously it looked like he's been kind of a little bit healthier and stuff, getting back into some running and whatnot. So hey, that was great, but still the lingering question had always been like, so are you still vegan, or what's going on there? And well, he cleared that up today, didn't he? Big fat thumbs down. I mean, I can't help it. I had to give him a thumbs down on that video. The only thing I can say is that stepping away from the brand ethics so that Bob and other folks can kind of take care of it and continue it as a vegan company, I do appreciate that. Hey lad, hey phlegm face, happy to have you here. Appreciate your company as always. Just talking about Tim Shieff, man. What do you do? Like I said, this guy was an inspiration to me when I first started going vegan, and obviously I'm not saying that I hate the guy or whatever, but I tried to help out. I tried to remain supportive, and I tried to just be a friend and stuff when things went downhill there a couple months ago. But now it's like, well, how do you react? How do you deal with it now that he's denounced veganism and is just like, yep, I'm a human on a human journey, and I'm going to put my human needs first. It's hard to deal with, honestly. Get mad, John. Feel it. Yeah. I'm not going to lie, man. I'm feeling a little bit angry about it, but Chickpea Sarnie, hi there. Hey, how's it going? You want chickpeas all of a sudden? You know what? This is funny. Little side note here. I was talking to my girlfriend Jamie about chickpea salad, like mashed chickpeas in a sandwich earlier today, and I really wanted to eat some chickpeas today, but you know what, I had to do this first because this is more important as far as I'm concerned. So I kind of want to know what your guys' thoughts are on it, but at the same time I just want to put it out there. Yeah, Chickpea Sarnie, exactly. I was hoping he would go back on a plant-based diet. That's exactly how I was feeling about it. At least that way, if he doesn't have everything all figured out, or even if it was like this occasional thing, it's not like I'm ever going to be an apologist or I'm ever going to say that this is okay to do. But I'm willing to support people to the point that I want to encourage them to like get back on track, right? But it seems like he's just said, no, I'm done. I'm just it's about me. It's about my human experience, and to hell with the animals. That's what it seems like to me. I mean, yeah, Tim, it was just a bunch of rambling BS. It did seem that way to me. I'd kind of agree. And Sarni, you've got it. You've nailed it. It is fuel for all the anti-vegan YouTubers. That's the worst thing. When I first responded to Tim talking about how eaten salmon a couple times or some eggs a couple times, that was my biggest concern. That this was just going to be fuel for the anti-vegans, fuel for the media. Like think of this headline: Former vegan ninja warrior champion goes back to eating meat because of health reasons. Like, can you imagine? That's bad press. So, yeah, I was kind of concerned that that would happen, and here we are. It's happened. But I do want to point out the only thing that I can say that was a little bit of silver lining in the video, and I was waiting for him to get to it, waiting for him to make the point, is that he was no longer going to be part of the ethics brand. That to me, actually, I respect that. I appreciate that because, as you guys may know from some of the other former vegans out there, or ex plant-based folks, let's call them, they were still selling vegan merch and they were still doing all these things and attending veg fests. One Stella comes to mind. For quite some time and still profiting off of the vegan brand, if you will. So I at least appreciate that he recognizes that that's not okay to do, and so he is stepped away from the ethics clothing line and stuff like that. And Bob seemed, I don't know the other two people, but Bob definitely seems like a very reasonable person. I believe that the brand will remain vegan and deserves not to be boycotted because these folks were probably just as shocked as anybody else, right? But yeah, how could he say he still feels ethical? What is ethical about his choice? Yeah, he still put it in there in his video that he still thought that he could still feel like he's an ethical person. I can't agree with that at all. I mean, once you know the horrors that animals go through and then you incorporate that back in so as to better your human experience, I mean, that makes it kind of hard. Chickpea says, think they should maybe change their name and rebrand. Yeah, I mean, that's tough because obviously you've built a following and a customer base on that brand, and I don't know. That's business and marketing right there. Maybe that would be beneficial, but in my opinion, I don't think that's necessary. I mean, I personally would still support ETHCS, the brand, because I know Bob is a stand-up guy, and obviously, like and even ETHCS, like that account on Instagram has made that post on Instagram to make it clear, like ETHCS is a vegan company, so. Hopefully they can come out the other side of this and it doesn't damage that because obviously we want to see good vegan brands and ethical clothing lines and stuff like that available for people. But Dan Run says, hey, everybody go check out Dan. Great channel, great content. This guy is going from pretty much not running to running the Brighton Marathon this spring. So kudos to Dan. Always enjoy following him along, so go check him out. Thanks for being here, man. We're just talking about Mr. Human Timothy and his human decisions. Dare I say human supremacist decision? I don't know, but he definitely seems to have turned his back on the animals. Want to get angry, but also want to remain respectable to other folks who have been. You guys are going to hear my cat Dylan going off in the background. If you watch my channel and you watch any of my videos, you're gonna know that there's a cat in every single video, and it's this one because she needs to be talked to. When she hears me talking to anybody else, she's like, oh, let me in on this. I need to be on YouTube. So get up here, baby. Come on. Come say hi. Yeah, of course, now she doesn't want to. Hey, anybody remember these guys? Shout out to Vegan Empire. Unfortunately, the brand and the company doesn't exist anymore, but this was run by a couple of friends of mine, Chris and Shannon, out in California, and their proceeds went to help out Gary Yourofsky. So, you know, travel around and do his thing. So, shout out to Vegan Empire. Yeah, Dan, I agree. As for his decision to leave the brand and leave the company, that was the best move. And I mean, you know, in fairness, I assume that part of that decision was made by Bob and the others to say like, hey, this is probably a good idea. I'm glad that they were able to work that out. So one of the things that I wanted to kind of touch on though was and I guess we kind of already have a little bit. Obviously, we know this is going to be fuel for the anti-vegans. So who wants to make a prediction right now? We're going to see at least another one or two kind of high-profile YouTubers. I'm guessing in the next like week or two who are going to find courage from this and say, you know, guess what, guys? I didn't really want to say anything or whatever, and it's going to be their coming out story. I'm going to make that prediction right now. As much as I don't want to see it happen, I'm thinking we're going to probably see one or two in the next week or two of these folks who want to come out and give their confession as well. Sad as it is, but I don't know. So, what do you guys think? Fuel for the fire, eh? Yeah, Flim Face probably. I was hoping that I could have jumped on your live stream earlier there and watched that, Flem. Unfortunately, I was at work and, you know, doing the whole thing that helps me pay the bills. Stupid job. But, yeah, so I couldn't jump on and really pay attention to that. Usually I'll try to listen in, but I actually left my earbuds at home today, so I couldn't even do that, unfortunately. But, so I will jump in and check out your live stream as well. But I'm hopeful that, I don't know, personally I think that Tim has kind of, in this video, he said a lot of things that didn't make a lot of overall sense to me. Like it seemed like maybe he found some clarity, but in a way that only Tim can find clear. Does that make sense? And so it did seem like things were very vague and wishy-washy a little bit, but you know that he had found clarity in that. I'm hopeful that people who watch that video kind of walk away from it the same way I did, which was with like a little bit of confusion, a little bit of like, wait a second, how does any of this actually make sense? Like I saw one of Joey Carbstrong's comments on the video, you know, when Tim had talked about ejaculating for the first time in a long time after eating animals again, and it's like it just seems like there's a TMI filter that most people kind of, you know where to kind of draw the line or whatever. And I guess it's about, you know, he always wants to be like honest and open and stuff, but like we generally do have a line, right, that we don't cross. Like, you know, there's certain things you just don't talk about. I mean, you can still be authentic, you can still be an authentic person and be real and be honest and have integrity without talking about like when the last time you got off was, you know what I mean? Like, I just feel like that was too much. And so I guess my point is, you know, there's probably going to be some people who are just like, this is just weird, and then, you know, and some of this is nonsense, and you know, maybe they're going to see that, you know, maybe there's just a level of instability there that, like, So that's the only saving grace. Maybe people won't take this as fuel to be like, oh, well, then maybe we shouldn't. They might not take it seriously for those reasons. You know what I mean? Like drinking your own piss for 2 years, 30-day water fast, staring at the sun, flat Earth, wet dreams over killing animals. You know what I mean? Like, that's rough. That's rough. It's hard to take it seriously, but all right, let me just see a couple of the comments here. Christina Marie says, hi, John. Hey, how are you? Glad to have you here. Appreciate your company as well. Chickpea says he injured himself if he did a press up. He says he would injure himself if he did a press up. Yeah, I mean, I don't believe that. I mean, yeah, how did he get through Ninja Warrior? I mean, obviously, he was doing something right at some point, right? Dan says, found that comment very, yeah, really TMI. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that was just a little bit weird. Joey Carb strong 5 hours ago. Sorry, but did you just say you had a wet dream after eating a murdered, suffocated animal at 8:32? Yeah, I mean, that's pretty messed up, right? Running on Oats. Hey, Running on Oats, Jenny. Everybody, if you enjoy really just great, quick, simple recipe videos, plant-based recipe videos, and hopefully soon some vegan content. I understand you're busy, Jenny. Go check out Running on Oats. Really great channel. Don't know this person or ethics, but so sad with all these people dropping plant-based diets, saying they drop veganism because they're not vegans in the first place. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. And you know what? I know that people say, hey, you can't be so black and white. Like, that's rude or it's mean or it's hateful. But that's not it. Like, with some things, there just is a line. And there is a black and a white. There can't be a gray area. Because since veganism is about just a level of comprehension and awareness and the desire to not harm innocent beings to the best of your ability, you can't be an ex-vegan. And, I know people are going to debate this over and over and over again, but no, it's not like you're ever an ex-murderer or an ex-rapist or, like, how can you say that you are no longer that thing? I know people can change because, trust me, I've made some extremely big changes in my life. Who I am today at like turning 36 this year is not at all the person I thought I would be. Honestly, like, trust me, I'm a complete 180 from where I thought I would be at this point. And yes, I was the bacon troll, even like probably 6 years ago. So I can understand how much people can change and how much their mentality and everything can change, but you cannot go from a place of pure love and respect of all living beings to just not being that and say that you were vegan, because that's just, words don't even really do it justice, the definition. You know what I mean? Yeah, with veganism, exactly. There is a black and white, for sure. Okay, Marley, you gotta get down because you're gonna shake the phone, baby. Come here. Come here. I think he was plant-based, says Chickpea. Yeah. Stephen Lucas says, hey, John, greetings from Bedford. Hadn't heard about JV till saw the video. Also hadn't heard about TS yet, though. You're not surprised. We'll watch this video. Thanks for the head up. Stephen, man, thanks for checking in. It's good to have some local viewership, so that's cool, man. Thanks for commenting and thanks for popping by. Yeah, you know what? It's funny though, because you've got so many different people who come at this from a dietary thing for like health and stuff, and then they can end up being like the most ethical people and end up like sticking around for the ethics and stuff. And so it's always interesting to me like how people get into veganism. And to be honest, it doesn't even matter what reasons you get into veganism. Like, I mean, arguably I cared as much about the environment at first as I did about the ethics. Like, probably not quite as much, but honestly it was probably pretty close. But now today, obviously I could never go back because of that ethical connection. And so it's always interesting to me when I see people and what their focus is on their channel or their brand or their social media or whatever it is. Like, I know that my content lately, last year or so, has been heavily about running, but like there's still a lot of ethical content on there and topics about like, you know, animals and stuff like that. And it's interesting when you see people who are vegan athletes or are vegan whatever, but they never talk about the animals. So it makes you wonder, like, really, where is their head at? Where is their heart? You know, are they in it for the animals or are they in it to establish that brand? Like, you know, our buddy John Venus there, obvious. I mean, he made it pretty clear, right? He made it really clear that he only cared about one thing, promoting his brand. So Amato says, "Hey John, good to see you, man." Hey Amato, you are amazing, buddy. Thanks for popping by. If anybody does not know Amato, I don't know for sure how much he's got up on this channel that he's commenting from, but he is a great musician. I listen to his stuff on Spotify all the time. Go check him out. Another great vegan guy, and yeah, repping the Netherlands. Red's Red. Who's waiting for Raw Alignments coming out video? Yeah, I mean, it's a joke. Gus says, was first in it for health and learn and grew, and now it's animals, planet, environment. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't care why people get into veganism. To be honest, even if somebody just gets into it as a plant-based diet, they're trying to get healthy or something like that, and then they learn as they go. I mean, we're constantly learning and growing and evolving as people, so it makes sense that, you know, we might be able to make a better connection as we go. So, no, I think that's great. It was a big deal when he went through Ninja Warrior as a vegan athlete in this country. It brought it to the forefront on some level. That said, he spoke about the diet more than the animals. Yeah, and you know what? I'm not going to say that Tim never did speak about the animals. Obviously, he did, and I do believe that there was a sincere ethical connection at some point. Clearly, that connection has been severed, and he's chosen the you know, the human experience over the shared experience. And you know, I mean, there's no point getting angry about it. It is a little bit angering, but at the same time, you know, he's made that decision. Karma's a bitch, but anyway, a lot of these strict dieters seem to be frauds. Yeah, I agree with that. Red is red. There seems to be a lot of people, unfortunately, who come down with a lot of these health issues, dieting issues. A lot of people, I think, do come from like a history of eating disorders as well, like people like Stella Ray and Bonnie and those folks. And so it's not really surprising, but Gus says win-win-win. Exactly. Being a vegan is a win-win-win situation. Did John Venus really take down his pig vigil video? I don't know. I have not watched any John Venus before or after this recent situation. Once I found out about that, I did, you know, watch a few of his videos from over the time and realized, oh shit, this guy's branding. But no, I have no idea. I know that he did take down the video where he said that he no longer wants to be labeled as plant-based, and he did take down, I believe he did take down the video after that where he tried to explain himself, saying that it's not that I don't actually care about animals, it's that I don't judge people who don't care about animals, which was just as BS as his one before that. But yeah, that was interesting. That was I almost feel bad for John Venus in a way because, man, that backfired big time. Mono says, thanks for the shout out. I appreciate it very much. Yeah, man, no worries. You are an amazing, amazing musician, and I love your stuff. You got a couple of tunes that are always in my head. Honestly, there are times that I'm out just running or walking around somewhere and, you know, maybe Falling from the Sky comes in my head, or Where is the Love, or something like that. Don't Want to Go Back Home. Friggin' love that song, man. That's a great tune. That might actually be my favorite, although that's really hard to say. But yeah, good stuff. Yeah, but I mean, we've got John Venus who did his thing, and I think that was an attempt to kind of remarket himself and rebrand himself, and it failed miserably. I think he was just trying to jump on the bandwagon without throwing the animals under the bus and actually be somehow liked by a broader audience. Oh, that was a bad move, but oh well. What do you do? My biggest point about John's video was, you know, just because there are like bad people in a demographic doesn't mean that the demographic itself is bad. So like, my biggest comparison or analogy was, well, like just because there are really bad parents out there, you wouldn't ever not want to identify as being a parent, right? Like it seemed really weak, but yeah, I don't know. All right, let's call it here, folks. Who else do you think's coming out in the next week or two with a "I'm no longer vegan" video? Let's raise the stakes. Should we bet on this? I know it's a horrible thing to bet on, but actually, no. Let's not do that because I would feel bad about that. Um, but hey, I don't know. I didn't really have much of a format for this video, for this stream. I just wanted to get it out there and really just two things. Say, Tim, man, what the hell? Choosing the human experience over the shared experience of all living beings when you understand that everybody is connected. And I mean, I have no evidence of any of this. I'm not like a spiritual or religious guy, but I honestly do believe that we are part of some sort of universal awareness, some fractal interconnected existence that maybe we are subatomic floaties inside a conscious biological living being on such a small level that the universe itself might be a growing child. Who knows, right? Something very Vedic. But having experienced those things, you can, or having come to those sort of realizations that we are all connected, I don't know how people go back. So that was the biggest thing I wanted to chat about. And then also number two, I did want to give kudos for the separation of Tim and ethics because I think that was the right move, and we don't see that often enough. So, Will, what do you guys think about that? Is anybody here? Dan, I know you said that you have some ethics gear. What do you think? Are you going to continue to support that company? And anybody else here? Would you continue to support the company as long as they stay, separated from Tim, or do you think that there's now going to be a stigma on that brand? Or curious what you guys think, because like either Red is Red or Chickpea said, they might need a rebrand. It's hard to say. But yeah, Gus, hopefully they'll realize their mistake and correct, hopefully. I mean, that's all you can really hope for. You have an ethics t-shirt? Cool. Yeah, I mean, if I had some ethics clothing right now, if I had already ordered something from ethics and already, had been part of it, I would still wear the ethics clothes, knowing that it was an ethically sourced thing, it's already been paid for, and knowing that Tim is now no longer part of it. You know what I mean? So I would. Um, Susan Thomas, hey, thanks for popping by. Says, so disappointed as Tim inspired you to transition from veggie to vegan almost 4 years ago. Could never eat another sentient being. Never. Animals suffer and don't want to die. Exactly. And that's just it, once you realize that, how do you go back? I mean, it's impossible for me. I just couldn't do it. Um, and same, he was a huge inspiration to me when I was first going vegan. Obviously, my girlfriend Jamie was the biggest catalyst and driver in that because she was vegan about a year or two before me. She was vegetarian before I went vegetarian. She was very supportive of me. She made sure that I had all of the knowledge and understanding that I needed to make that decision. So that was great. But seeing some of these people like Tim, seeing some other YouTubers, I don't care what anybody says about Harley and Freely. Like, yeah, there's some polarity there, but honestly, when I was first going vegan, hearing people just that I needed somebody who was gonna say, hey, like, would you wake the F up? Like, I needed to have somebody slap the sense into me. And so having very just abrupt people like Gary Orofsky who just told it like it was, having people like your Harleys and your Freelies who just told it like it was, even though, hey, I understand if people don't respect those guys or like those guys, that's fine. And I'm never going to defend everything that's happened there. But you've got people who are absolutely monumental in my going vegan. And then when you see some of them like just either going batshit crazy or going back to eating animals, it's like, whoa. Goes back to how much people can change, right? All right, Dan says, was buying ethics gear when it was originally ethics and antics, then ethics and athletes. Be honest, your most recent purchases were all during their sale post-vegan announcement, top quality items. Yeah, you know what? It's understandable. I mean, and Red, you say Feely tarnished the brand, still but kind of biased opinion. I mean, yeah, I mean, I'm with you. Like, I understand. I'm hopeful because I do watch Bob as well. Family Freedom, something like that. I don't know. I watch their channel. I watch their vlogs. I know Bob is a real stand-up guy, and I know that whole family is, nice, respectful people who give a shit about animals. So, I don't want to see them suffer as a result of somebody else's poor decision. So, that's the only reason. But Amato says, yeah, Gary was a really big influence on you and your girlfriend. Yeah. Honestly, I think Gary was probably a big influence on most people. And yeah, I'm with you there. Say hi to Armanda for me. Definitely a lot of love and respect for her as well. Vohan, hey Vohan, thanks for joining. Honestly think ex-vegan are morons and or not all there. Well, if you are somebody who has truly made an ethical connection and you weren't just on a plant-based diet for a while to try to get healthier, yeah, I can definitely see that. I find it really hard to. I can't be convinced, okay, that somebody has made an ethical connection with the animals, truly understands and respects what that means, and then goes back to eating animals. You can't convince me of that. Gus says, Rich Roll, Brendan Brazier, Scott Jurek, Catrick Corbett, those are your influences. Yes, those guys are all amazing. Armando says, we are watching together. Hey, Armando. All right, so yes, Rich Roll, man, I resonate with that guy a lot. He is some good vibes, and he is not just like one of these like hippy dippy LA folks who like, sell it but don't really act it. I mean, this guy came from some low spots and now is a really good vegan athlete and advocate. I have a lot of respect for Rich. I really do, because although I may not have been at the same kind of lows, I can definitely understand what it's like to feel like there's a bottom and you're you're getting pretty close. And now to have such a purpose, yeah, that's pretty cool. And yeah, Brendan and Scott, I mean, Catra Corbett, man, she is amazing. If you guys don't know who Catra Corbett is, follow her on Instagram. It's DirtDiva333, I think. That girl can run. I mean, she runs ultra marathon after ultra marathon, like 200-mile events, and then the next week go do a 100-miler. And then when she realizes, oh, I can get an extra medal if I go just run another 10K, go run another 10K for the extra medal after finishing a 100-miler. Like, man, she's awesome. Go check her out. Kind of like how John Venus shouldn't be promoting Viva Life anymore. Yeah, I don't know enough about his brand, honestly, so I can't even comment on that. Vegan gains, then finally watching Earthlings convinced me to go vegan. Oh, hey, B-Dub, Banana Warrior Princess. Emma, thanks for popping by. Did Tim Shieff actually go to see a doctor, get a prescription? It doesn't seem that way. It seems like over the last couple of months, he's just been eating some more animal products and is feeling better. And there you go, he's cured, right? Cured from eating animals. A lifetime of issues that must have been compounded by his veganism. He's cured, man. He's good now. Didn't need a doctor. I don't know. Yeah, it is stupid. I agree. Magic flesh, guys. Yeah, I don't know what's in that salmon, but some crazy stuff. Absolutely magical. It's like Lucky Charms. He would rather contribute to a Holocaust than go see a doctor. That's what it seems like. So that's where the I try to balance my anger with a nuanced approach, but yep, that's where it appears that he's at. Instead of going to actually see a doctor and get the full benefits of that before making this decision, it seems like he's just trusting himself. He's using that same intuition that led him to drink his piss for 2 years, that led him to stare at the sun directly for minutes at a time, that led him to go on a 30-day unsupervised water fast, that led him to go back to eating animals. He's just following that intuition. I mean, his flat Earth acceptance. There's a lot of things that he's come to. He's been able to find that knowledge as a true seeker, and so here he is finding his authentic knowledge, I suppose, is the best way. Seems to be the takeaway from what I get from his videos, and his newfound clarity. He's famous with lots of connections as well. He could have got the attention of any of the plant-based doctors. Exactly. Authentic Holocaust, though. Exactly. Authentic Holocaust. I mean, yep. Hashtag the human experience. Delusional. Hope he sees sense. Well, I was saying earlier, a couple months ago, I was kind of like at the point where it was like, I want to be supportive of Tim. I want to be a nice guy. I think he's been going through some rough times, and I want to not just completely throw him out as trash. But I mean, when things just continue to happen and happen and happen, obviously you're eventually going to be like, okay, well, it's kind of like when you're in a bad relationship or you see somebody who does the same things over and over again, the same self-destructive behavior. Um, it's hard to continue to be a helping hand to somebody if you've got a friend who, let's say you've got a friend who's like an alcoholic or something. I mean, yeah, you want to support your friends, but like at what point do you say, look, obviously the help I'm giving you isn't helping anymore, or the support I'm giving you is making zero difference, so I just need to back away from this. And I think that's probably where a lot of people are with Tim as of today's video. Certainly for me. I mean, what do you do? Chickpea says, I feel good after taking B12. I wonder if the magic egg effect is because of B12, something he didn't supplement. Maybe. I mean, maybe it's that. Maybe it's omegas. Maybe it's just, eating some fats. I don't know. Lori says, hey, Lori, thanks for popping by. So disappointed in Tim. To me, it sounds like he has chronic Lyme. Did he ever have blood tests? That's the thing. I don't... Unless he's done some stuff that he just hasn't disclosed. But, I mean, he discloses some really personal stuff in his videos. I mean, anybody who talks about drinking their urine for 2 years or the first time they've ejaculated in months or whatever probably would disclose if they'd seen a doctor. So by the sounds of it, it doesn't seem like he has. Vohan says probably just calorie intake made him feel better after eating just fruit and fasting for 35 days. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, right? Like, I mean, I know that I feel amazing even just after a 24-hour fast. I usually do a 24-hour fast once a month, and that's for the Animals First on the Second campaign. You guys can go check that out. Facebook group run by a friend, Izzy. I think it's a good thing to do. Like every now and then it's in solidarity, with the animals who are being trucked to slaughter. It's a reminder of the plight of those animals, and it's just a little personal challenge, if you will. And I do feel good after a 24-hour fast once a month, and especially once I get to eat something, obviously. but man, a 30-day, that's crazy. Yeah, Banana Warrior Princess, that's just it. If he didn't go see a doctor, he can't be taken seriously. And I mean, I know that Goji Man offered some help and probably did some stuff for him. And I know that, yeah, you would have had these plant-based doctors that everybody knows. I mean, Tim's a high enough profile guy. If he would have reached out to them, somebody would have helped. You know what I mean? And yeah, nothing wrong with vegans taking medication. I mean, I'm 100% on the same page there. And even if that medication has been tested or whatever, I mean, you cannot advocate for animals. You cannot be a strong voice for animals. You cannot be a strong and proper vegan if you are dying and sick. I mean, it's just not possible. So I do believe that if you have to take medication so that you can control your shit, so that you can continue to be a strong voice for the animals until there is a vegan option. If there is not a vegan option, that's what I'm talking about. Obviously, there are a lot of things in this world, in a non-vegan world, that we have no control over. But for the things we do have control over, like going to see a freaking doctor, right? Lori says, I love Animals First on the Second. Exactly. That's a great campaign. And I'm not, yeah, everybody here should go check that out. If you're on Facebook, go check out the Animals First group. Great movement. Wonder what happened with him and Goji. It's hard to say. But, oh, Jessica says, can his piss drinking have something to do with him not feeling great? I don't know. Personally, I have never felt the need or desire to ingest my urine or any other bodily fluid or excrement of any kind. So I can't say from experience, but I would think that drinking urine probably isn't a good thing. I don't know. I have seen a couple of these kind of fringe articles that have somehow come up on my feed or something that I've read, where they talk about potential benefits of certain things, but I think you could probably provide anecdotal evidence or, you know, potential benefits for just about anything, right? So probably drinking piss for 2 years didn't help. I'm not a doctor, so it's probably a good thing Tim didn't reach out to me. How can he keep selling his brand? Actually, Lori, that's part of the main reasons why I wanted to make this video. He's actually not still part of ETHCS. They made a post on Instagram today, so Bob and the other folks that are involved with that, they are continuing the ETHCS brand. They made it very clear Tim is not part of that group anymore. He will not be profiting from this business. He has nothing to do with it anymore. So that was actually one bit that I wanted to say, like, was it actual major kudos, and does seem to be maybe the only point of clarity that I saw out of Tim in that entire video, was the recognition and understanding that vegans would be absolutely pissed about that if he continued to profit from the vegan stance while eating animals. So, yeah. Hey man, I don't know, drinking urine. I like to think that there's a first time for everything. You know, I've done some things in my life that, hey man, I never thought I would do. Number one, hey, I never thought I'd be vegan. I never thought I'd be vegetarian. I never thought I'd give up smoking cigarettes. I never thought I'd be a runner. There's a lot of things I never thought I would do in my life. But I'm pretty sure that drinking piss is one of those I can rule out. I'm pretty sure. I don't know. Find me in a survival situation where I need to filter that out or something, or I'm going to die from dehydration. Hey, who knows what I would do in a survival situation? But yeah, Lori, no worries. Didn't make it through his video. You were pissed. No, he did mention it. I don't know if that video was somewhere around 15 minutes long. It was probably somewhere at the 11 or 12 minute mark. And ETHCS did make the post on Instagram, so check that out. Yeah, Bear Grylls style, exactly. I hate that guy. Red is Red says, do you think any of these ex-vegans will ever find veganism again? You know what? I don't know. I'm hopeful that people will come around. I mean, it's pretty clear with with some people. You know, you take a look at Tim, and then you take a look at people like Casey, Vegetable Police, and you take a look at some of these other folks who have just really bounced around and tried different things, and like no matter what they do, it doesn't seem like anything ever really works. So maybe when they realize, oh shit, this also doesn't work, then they will realize, okay, there's some other issue here, and I could probably correct that with a vegan solution. So hopefully, you know what I mean? Um, yeah, Jessica says, I think there's a bit of a difference between going vegan with some mates and drinking each other's pee. Yeah, yeah, there's a little bit of a difference there. It's talk about your cocktail party, huh? I'm sorry, bad joke, bad joke. But yeah, you think it's good in a way they've outed themselves. At least now we know who not to support. Exactly. I mean, you know, there are so many good vegans out there who are making amazing vegan content, who are keeping it about the animals, while also highlighting other potential benefits. I mean, you know, I'm not going to deny that there are potential health benefits if you're eating a whole food plant based diet. Obviously, the science points in that direction. Obviously, we know that, you know, there's a lot of environmental benefits to somebody eating vegan over the standard American diet or whatever. Um, you know, and personally for me, like I believe that it's helping my running and my athletic ability. I really do because of the anti-inflammatory properties. But when you see that there's no animal content on a lot of these videos, or it's just so very, you know, far and few between, like, or few and far between, it's like you kind of know what people are trying to build the brand on and marketing themselves as. So yeah, we know who not to support. There's so many people out there who are just making amazing, amazing content, who are keeping it real and making sure that people on the streets everywhere know that, you know, the Holocaust of animals is not okay. You've got people like Emma, Banana Warrior Princess, who was right here. I don't know if she's still here, but, you know, out there doing street activism. You've got Joe, you've got James, you've got all these people that you don't need to be following these fringe people who are kind of like not even really doing a whole lot for the animals other than just being an example. You know what I mean? And I'm not claiming that I'm like doing some great thing for veganism just because I have a YouTube channel and I talk about these things sometimes. But it's pretty clear who's in it just to self promote, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. All right. Hey, John says, Team Broccoli. Hey, Jenny, how's it going? Everybody go check out Team Broccoli. Jenny was one of the very first people. When I first went vegan, I started my YouTube channel in, shit, I don't even know when now, probably like, I think it was like September of 2014 or something like that. So Jenny was one of the first people that I kind of connected with, you know, through the whole vegan and YouTube kind of community. So go check her out. She's awesome. Her and her family are awesome folks. Red is Red says Casey's definitely orthorexic. Feel sorry for him. Yeah, I mean he does. He has some issues, and I don't hate him by any means. He's someone I can't put my attention on or spend any focus on. It's just not helpful. It's not a good use of my time. Um, yeah, Banana Warrior Princess. Oh my god, watching Tim's video now. Vegan Gain's gonna have a field day with this, and so will I responding to it. Yeah, I mean, honestly, like, this is like throwing major fuel on a fire. Like, oh my god. Like, okay, Richard just got his channel back, and I could see this being the response video where he loses it again because he is going to have such a hard time holding it together and not just going completely ape on Tim in this one. Like, I respect that. I respect that Richard is trying to, you know, make himself a little bit better, a little bit easier to get along with for YouTube standards and stuff. I get that, and I think he's done great things for veganism. But honestly, this is going to be tough for him, and I can't wait for his video. Omniscient157 says, all right, let me just scroll back here to this. Shout out from South Spain. Cool. Hey, thanks for joining us. Tune in from your tent in the shrubs. I've had a few moments of premonition with Tim since catching onto his content about a year ago. He has a sharp mind. Hopefully, he will come around. Yeah, you know what? That's the thing about Tim is that um, behind the veil of what seems like really like unfocused, um, very abstract kind of reality, I do believe that there is a strong intelligence there and the ability to be a strong presence for positivity in this world. So I'm with you there. I hope he does come around. It's just hard to see through that filter. Um, Red is Red says, look forward to the responses, especially with Tim's Quacker video. Yeah. Banana Warrior Princess, doctors work for some people, but I feel my body is my personal journey, etc., etc. I condone the Holocaust, personal choice. Exactly. I mean, it really comes down to just choosing the human experience, the personal experience, the human supremacist experience over the reality of how those choices and actions affect others. And that's what it really does come down to. And that's not a hateful statement. That's just the truth, right? Um, Wish Bite Size Vegan would come back. She has great videos. Yeah, Emily's awesome. I really wish that she was still doing that. She was huge. She was very instrumental in me going vegan at first as well. Lori says, thing that Casey and Tim have in common is they both did such extreme things. Yeah, and extreme fasting, yeah, the turpentine. Like, oh my God. When I heard that Casey had done that, I was like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? Like, not to be mean, but wow. I can't imagine, right? That is some extreme stuff. Tim mentions he has serious gut problems as one reason for dropping veganism, yet also mentions drinking his own urine for 2 years. Yeah, that seems to be a recurring comment here, isn't it? It's hard to believe. It's hard to believe, Miss King. Miss Bite-Sized Vegan, yeah, for sure. Free Creative Spirit, hello from Germany. Yeah, Tim, saw that one coming. Just fuck yourself up with raw stuff, water fasting, some herbs, and blame veganism. Trend is spreading fast. Yeah, it's tough, man. It's tough. Like, I have never, delved too deeply in, holistic or whatnot things. Like, I believe that there is some very true and honest benefits to holistic health, and I believe that there is, intermittent fasting and stuff. I believe can do great wonders for the body. But I'm not an expert on any of these things. I'm just saying that I believe the reality is that you can partake in some of these things and see benefits as long as you don't lose yourself in them, Like when you lose yourself in an experience, and if I can be quite honest, that's why I stopped smoking weed a long time ago. Even though it's legal in Canada again now, I have no desire to go out and do it again, because when you lose yourself in an experience and that becomes part of your identity and your reality that you need to be a part of and you can't see outside of it, I liken it to the same kind of a fog that you get when you're into these sort of like extreme things. You get so focused on that you can't see the blatant truth right in front of you. And that's nothing against anybody who smokes weed. Hey, do whatever you want to do, right? But just kind of likening that to something that I went through personally, so I can kind of relate. I can see how people get caught up into a certain thing, but you got to pull yourself back sometimes and see the reality, which is, in this case, like Emma has pointed out, an animal holocaust, right? That's messed up. Red is Red, curious if Casey's girlfriend stayed with him. They met because of veganism. I have no idea. I haven't followed anything he has done. I unsubscribed to him a long time ago. Miss King says, genuinely sad someone who was so positive, alternative yet mainstream made this choice. Damaging too much about the ego, barely a mention of the animals. That's just it. When somebody is trying to, I believe that Tim honestly believes that he has transcended ego to another kind of level of existence or spiritual reality where he's doing himself justice and an honor by respecting his own personal human experience and seeing that as being authentic. But I think he's really being fooled by the ego. I think that has truly set back in, and he's living what maybe he believes is an authentic existence, but he's being fooled because the ego is a tricky little guy. Um, so I don't know, man. I think he's being duped by the shit that's going on in his own head, to be honest. Free created spirit, don't overdo it. 4 weeks water fast. Yeah, that's crazy, you know. Bit of cooked, bit of raw, bit of fast, bit of weed, maybe. Yeah, yeah, right. Um, yeah, I don't do it, but no, no hard feelings to anybody who does. People need to realize a lot of these specific protocols not for people who are starting being unwell, and it's not for everybody. Agree. All the ex-vegans fail to mention the animals. It's all about them. Well, unless you're Bonnie Rebecca, in which case you say, I love animals and I wish I didn't have to do this, and this is only because of health. But then you go purchase items that contain animal ingredients, and in some of your very next videos are talking about like, oh, look what I eat in a day. There's just some eggs and stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I think if you were truly, authentically cared about animals, and you were convinced that you had to step back from a plant-based diet for health reasons, you would, moving forward from that point, not promote the use of animals in your upcoming videos or by purchasing them in furniture or whatever else. So that's kind of a level of dishonesty there. Tim's transcended all right to cuckoo. Well, you know, hey, we're all entitled to our opinion. Susan says, thank you, John. Love your channel. Sending much love, vegan love and peace from West Wales, UK. Well, thank you for popping by. I really appreciate your support and your kind comment. I would love to come visit the UK sometime. You know, I've got some friends all throughout the UK, and I would definitely love to come and check it out sometime. Just some of the sceneries. Well, being in Nova Scotia, Canada, which is New Scotland, you know, I do have a lot of English and Scottish background and ancestry, and you know, I'd like to be able to go check out the motherland sometime. Red is red. Yeah, I really hate they promote it in video. Keep it to yourself. Well, you know, I mean, that's the thing. Like, although this would never happen, if in we have magic eggs in the UK, worth a visit. Thank you, Dan, for that. That's great. So yeah, hypothetically speaking, although this will never happen, if I ever did get to the point, if in this hypothetical situation I thought to myself, you know what, I need to incorporate an egg here or there or salmon here and there for my health, and you know, I could believe that 100% this is what I needed to do, I would think that I'd still care enough about the animals and want to, like, you know, if that's the whole point and that's the only reason why I'm consuming those things on occasion, I would keep that off my channel. I wouldn't put that on Instagram. I don't think that's being not authentic. Like, if your goal is to promote the health of animals and all that kind of shit, like, why would you then just be okay with putting that in your content of eating eggs and stuff? Like, I just couldn't do it. You know what I mean? But anyway. Miss King says, what was their slogan? There is no I in ethics. Eating his words now, I guess. Ooh, good call, good call. But in case you missed it, he did say he's not going to be any part of ethics anymore. And ethics on Instagram did put out a post and a statement today saying, like, look, Tim is in no way related to us anymore, and will not be profiting. So, you know, he's stepped down. Yeah, Bob's taking over. Bob's a great guy. Like, I trust and respect Bob. I don't think it's fair for him and the others involved to lose business or or have people boycott this company because of the actions of Tim. I think they were just as surprised and probably angered by it as, you know, other people were. So, but yeah, first go see a doctor, do tests, find out what's wrong. Exactly. Jessica says, but somebody said he'd still get some royalties from ethics, so that's not true. I mean, I don't know, right? Like, I honestly don't know how that'll work, but I do. In his video and in the Instagram post, it seemed like, I mean, it seemed pretty clear that he was not going to be part of this company, that he was not going to be receiving any money from the company, that he was in no way going to be affiliated with it or profit from it. So, I mean, I don't know. Obviously, I don't know what their agreement is exactly, but that's something that really only Bob or a couple of the others that are still involved with the company would be able to answer. I believe them if they say he's not going to be getting any money from this. So, whatever my word is worth. But scrolling up here a little bit, Free Creative Spirit says, yeah, you could do an activism tour. I would absolutely love to do that. To be honest, I do need to get more practiced in activism. I haven't uploaded any like street activism content or anything like that. It's not something that I've done yet. I've had a lot of conversations with people. A lot of my coworkers and personal friends and stuff have made significant changes as a result of those conversations, but I have not gotten to a point where, number one, I feel comfortable that I would be really, really effective by doing like street activism, like some of these folks, you know, with the camera setup, you're interviewing people on the street. I'm not confident in my ability yet with that, but it's something that I definitely want to work towards and I want to incorporate because I think that I think it's very valuable for sure. So one thing may happen here in the next 5 or 10 minutes if I'm on. My laptop is probably going to die, so I may miss a few comments here and there because they do pop up on my phone, but I prefer reading them off my laptop below me here. It's just easier to see. So, but yeah, I don't know. Those magic eggs. Those UK magic eggs. I don't know what you guys are doing over there, but Lori says, it's interesting that a couple years ago Tim decided to never sit down and break bread with non-vegans, and now he is one. Again, another indication of his extremism. Yeah. Yep. It's interesting, you know. I agree with you, Lori. I mean, I won't go. I won't purposefully go like you know, to family members' place when they're having their turkey dinner or something. I'll just have my own thing. There are situations that I do avoid, but the reality is, like in the workplace or in other situations, um, you know, there are times when I'm eating with people who are eating animal products, and although I'm not cool with that, I think that my presence and my food, because they know me as the vegan, is a catalyst for other conversations. And personally, I think it makes more sense to do that. So, but I can understand not wanting to be in certain situations. Like I get that, like holiday dinners and stuff. Um, Banana Warrior Princess says, don't focus on how effective you are, focus on learning. Do it anyway. You will win either way. That's how you started activism. All right, cool. Well, I will definitely keep that in mind. I just want to say for the record, Emma, you are definitely one of the best street activists and street interviewers that I have seen yet on YouTube. So, real major kudos to you. I appreciate that content, and I have learned some things from you and your channel, so that's awesome. Yeah, and Jessica asks, when is your Tim Shieff response video coming? And you were working on it later this weekend, just found out about it after work today. Also asks, anybody in my family vegan yet? So I have, of course, I have my girlfriend Jamie, who actually inspired me to go vegan. And So that's good, having a long-term vegan partner. That's huge. That's very helpful. But no one in my immediate family. I do have an uncle who is vegan. Well, no, I think he prefers to call himself plant-based because I'm sure that he isn't quite as. I don't think that he is as concerned about like purchasing other types of products, but he's definitely, a plant-based dieter, which I think is still, a really good step. Obviously, it's not perfect, but um, other than that, no, I don't have any direct vegans. I have a cousin who is, to my knowledge, about like 99% plant-based, but I don't have any like actual legit vegan family that we hang out and do vegan stuff together. Um, Free Creative Spirit says, totally my first cube tomorrow. I'll get heaps of footage for shadowing. Yep, awesome. And yeah, Emma, you're welcome. Vegan Gains will have a field day with this, absolutely. And in case you missed it, my comment to that earlier was this is probably going to be the video where Vegan Gains loses his channel again, because he's going to go completely off on Tim for this. Like, he's going to be talking about flat earth, he's going to be talking about sun gazing, he's going to be talking about drinking piss, he's going to be talking about all these things. I can't wait for this video, to be quite honest with you. And I mean, I haven't historically always enjoyed Richard's content, because some of it just, is a little bit over the top for my personal style. But man, one thing is for sure, that guy is entertaining as hell. But when he actually gets down to business and starts critiquing things and debating, he's a very smart, logical person, and I have a lot of respect for him, even though in my experience, he's gone over the top a few times, so that's okay. Why is it so hard to convince family members? That's a great question. I don't know. If you figure it out, let me know. Tofu Goddess has good content too. Yes, absolutely, she does. I just fairly recently, within the last few months, found her channel, and have been watching some of her stuff recently, along with Flemface, and yeah, Leanne has great content. She breaks it down very nice, logically. I think it's very palatable for both vegans and non-vegans. So no, great channel as well. VG is your personal fave YouTuber, second to Joey, of course. Yeah, for sure. Philip says, sorry I came in late. Who is Tim? Philip, Tim Shieff, Timothy Shieff, the former vegan UK Ninja Warrior champion. His video today, his video a couple months ago, where he said that he had incorporated a couple things that, of course, I and many other people responded to. Talked about him trying a couple things out of desperation. Well, today his video was, so I've just basically denounced veganism, and I'm just full-on carnist now, and it's more about my human experience, and so I'm just doing my thing and respecting my personal journey. My personal journey. You know what? I understand the word journey, and if used in the right context, it's fine. You could be on a running journey. You could be on a career journey. You could be on many different journeys in life. But when people start talking about the journey, and when they fail to recognize that the animals are on their own journey as well, to a slaughterhouse in the back of trucks by the billions, that's when you don't get to use "it's my journey" as a cop-out or as an excuse, because that's just bullshit. When you start, just going about, oh, I'm on my journey, and, it's all just part of being me, and I accept my mistakes and imperfections, like, I get it, but remember the journey of the innocent beings being slaughtered by the tens of billions, right? Which is all completely unnecessary. So respect other people's journeys as well. And if you can't do that, then quite honestly, fuck your journey, right? Sorry if this was supposed to be a suitable for work or family event. Hopefully nobody had kids in the room, but it is what it is, On point here, John. Thanks, Lori. Yeah, I mean, try to keep it real, but Team Broccoli says, yeah, all right, thanks, Jenny. Sorry if the kids are around for that. Hopefully, whenever you're watching one of my videos, Jenny, put in your earbuds, okay? Just because, I don't want your kids to be, okay, they aren't home yet, all right. Because I don't want your kids to be like, oh my God, John just said the F word, and then start swearing because of me. That would be horrible. Yeah, that's you curse like a sailor. All right, cool. But yeah, Emma, that's it, man. Like he does know the animal's journey, but he thinks his journey's more important. That is human supremacy. That is speciesism at its finest. I mean, it's just that is the perfect example of how people are like, yeah, I love and respect and blah blah blah, but they completely throw the animals under the bus. And human supremacy, I mean, hey, it's cultural. We're ingrained in it from the time we're born into this world, that we're taught that we are basically not even animals, right? Like, I mean, so many people in my family don't even think that we belong to the animal kingdom. They don't even think we're animals. Like, what are we, plants? I mean, they don't even understand how we are classified as living beings, because it's so ingrained in us that we are separate and above other life on this planet. It's pathetic. It's disgusting, but it's mostly just sad, I think. I don't know. Miss King, thanks for your level-headed discussion. As always, John, no worries about the kids being present past 10 p.m. here in Scotland. Signing out, so peace to you and all. Yes, vegan for the animals. Good night. Thank you, Miss King, for joining in. Have a great night. If he had to consume human flesh or go to the doctors, he would go to the doctors. Yeah, that's just it, right? I don't know. It just... well, yeah, I mean, exactly. Unless we can justify cannibalism, and unless we're just as okay with cannibalism as eating other animals, then obviously there's a flawed logic in anybody who tries to say that, um, I'm just respecting my own personal experience and my own human existence. Because if that were the case, then you would have no problem with doing these things to other humans as well, right? I mean, would you? So I don't know. I mean, it seems messed up. It's obviously just speciesism, human supremacy. When you care more about a human that you've never met than, who might even be like a complete dirtbag and a horrible human. If you care more about horrible humans than you do about innocent animals, I think that says a lot about you and about your true character and morals. Does anybody know if Tim has ever been on a vigil? I have no idea. There goes my laptop, so I am relying just on this. So hopefully I don't miss too many comments. I think I need to hit this button. See what happens here. I've just turned it to live chat on my phone, so can somebody try typing something in here? Just put another comment. Okay, cool. So I might miss a few because now I'm just looking at my phone, but I'll try to keep up. What's the chance to take him on one? I have no idea. I'm obviously I can't do that. I'm too far away. I'm over in Eastern Canada, but I think that that's probably something that some of his closest friends would have to try to convince him to do. And at this point, that would probably just go against his journey. I don't know. It's hard to say. But yeah, anyway, I don't know. Shout out to the real vegans out there, the folks who understand that there is no justifiable reason just to take up eating animals, like, or using animals, or throwing them under the bus for your human existence. I've said it before, if I'm ever in a survival situation where I have literally a 0% chance of living, and my only way to survive was to, you know, I'm on like day 10 with no food or something, and the only way I was going to survive, a matter of my life or death, was to consume an animal. Hey, I hope I'm never in that situation, but I think everybody wants to live, right? But I just don't believe that any of these folks that we've seen go back, you know, is, you know, none of these people need to eat these animals. I just don't believe that. I believe that there is a vegan solution for everybody. Sure, there are probably some extremely rare cases where no matter what you do, it's going to be not ideal. And maybe your health is going to be like kind of crappy. Maybe you'll have some issues, right? But I would rather live with an issue. I would rather live uncomfortably, but not harming animals. Because how does my discomfort outweigh the life of an innocent being? You know, how can I justify that? I don't know. And hey, maybe it's different when you're in that situation. I don't know. But I just can't see that for myself no matter what. Just can't see it. And it seems like that's the general consensus with the folks that are here. So appreciate that. Appreciate all these real vegans standing up and saying, "Hey, let's put these bullshitters on blast because there's obviously flawed logic." Don't have to be a bodybuilder or a ninja warrior. They never consider stepping down from maybe extreme personal lifestyle choices like that. Well, yeah, like, okay, I run marathons, and you know, last year I did a 365-day run streak, and yeah, exactly. I'm like 100%. But like, yeah, let's say that my health wasn't great, and I couldn't figure it out, and just, you know, for whatever reason, even remaining as a vegan, I just, for whatever reason, could not compete and could not run every day or run 1,500 miles a year or run marathons or whatever. Even if that was the case, then yeah, that would suck. But I'm not going to choose like, I'm not going to choose running marathons or whatever over the lives of innocent beings, right? Like that's just ridiculous. Like those things are not equal. My desire to run a marathon is not is not equal to, yeah, if you can't get the food right, change your lifestyle choices. Yeah, I mean, I agree. You know, it's not a necessity. It's not necessary to you know, to do those things. Obviously, didn't die from it. Was extremely hungry the first couple weeks as a vegan. Instead of going back to eating meat, just powered through and adjusted your intake accordingly. Yeah. Hey, I remember the first few months when I first went vegan. You know, it's a big change. Your body. I was used to 30 years of the standard Western diet. I mean, you know, I ate meat with pretty much every meal 3 times a day for 30 years. Well, obviously not as like a little baby, but um, there is obviously an adjustment period. And first few months, I mean, I wasn't comfortable all the time. I definitely had some bloating, definitely had some things, but I mean, you know, I recognized what worked, what didn't work. I was changing the entire intake of food. So all right, folks, I would like to keep this going, but my laptop is dead. My phone just told me it's on 10%, and we're at 80 minutes so far. I got home from work and jumped right on here. I haven't even had my dinner yet, so I'm getting a little bit hungry as well. So I'll tell you what, I'll keep this going for just a couple more minutes in case anybody has any last minute questions or whatever, but I'll pop off here in just a couple of minutes, I think. Thanks, Jenny. You have a good night as well. Go eat, says yet another vegan. Yeah, it's probably a good idea. It's not the second of the month, so I will eat. So yeah, plug for AFOT's Animal First on the 2nd. Go check out that campaign yet again. 24-hour fast in solidarity with the victims that are being slaughtered, transported for up to 54 or 72 hours in extreme conditions, no food or water. So once a month we do a fast in solidarity, wear a little mark on our hand, and it's a passive way, a non-aggressive way of promoting conversations and getting people talking about veganism and thinking about the plight of animals. And personally, I think it's a good move anyway. 24-hour fast every now and then, I think, might even be good for the body. So you will do that. Thanks for promoting it. Yeah, no worries. Okay. Well, I think that's about it then, guys. I will wrap it up. Thank you very much for joining me. This was a very successful live stream. I don't have a huge channel, so I didn't know how many people were going to show up. But, you know, we were steadily between 15 and 20, so that's awesome. Really appreciate it. And everybody have a great night. Peace, guys.